Howdy folks, and welcome to a little behind the scenes footage. So here I sit at my desk in my home garage. This is where I edit my YouTube videos. It's also where I edit the Rolling in My 5.0 podcast that I do with Chris, the Infamous Project. I'm right in the middle of editing this week's upcoming podcast, so I'm reliving the conversation that we had with our guest. And the topic of discussion that we're on right here, right now, is how nothing is as it seems in the wild world of social media. So what do I mean by this? Anything you see on social media, unless it has some sort of like a face plant or a fail type flair to it, is always perfect. Or at least we try very, very hard to make it perfect. So let's say, you're like me, you like posting pictures of your car, not a whole lot of personal stuff. You go out, you're out for a drive, you see the perfect landscape, you park your car at the right angle, you don't show any of the dings, dents, or scratches, the sun's setting. I think you guys know where I'm going with this, right? You take 400 photos, maybe you use one. Nothing is as it seems on social media. Now, I talk about this quite often in some of my posts, right? In the comment, or not the comment, but the description area. I say like, oh, I'm out in the bucket of bolts, or, this old toilet, whatever. And I usually get a lot of feedback from people going, what are you talking about? Your car's perfect. Well, I'm here to tell you it's not. However, I know there's a psychological flair to all this as well. So we are all our own worst enemies. What we sit here and nitpick away at our cars, the person down the street's going to go, what are you talking about? There's nothing wrong with that, right? It's absolutely beautiful. So with all that being said, today what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you on a tour around my green coupe, and I'm going to show you all the things that stand out to me as shortcomings, dings, dents, scratches, whatever, that make me refer to it as a bucket of bolts. And I'd love to hear your guys' feedback if you are as hard on yourself as I am, or I'd love to hear how you feel about the shortcomings of my car, and if you would feel just as bad about them as I do. All right, let's drop the robe on this old girl and have a look under her skirt. Now keep in mind, I'm going to be as nitpicky as possible as I take you on this tour. I know that the more time you spend around these cars and the longer you stare at them, the more you notice. But I just want to give you guys like an up close and personal idea of the things that in my mind don't make it absolutely perfect. So the paint is very, very, very far from perfect. There's so many blemishes in this paint, it's not even funny. I've got clear coat issues all over the place on it. You can see through the trim here. It's a little dirty too. The roof and trunk of this car have been hit with a hailstorm. I got caught in an Alberta hailstorm years and years and years ago. See a great big one right there. Might be a little hard to tell on film, but like this whole roof has slight dents and divots, and I did make an insurance claim on it at the time, and I got paid out for it, to which I bought car parts and beer with the money, because PDR, the paintless dent repair, didn't exist at the time, and I knew all they were going to do is like skim coat it and repaint it. So I'm like, I don't want my roof all full of Bondo and stuff. But the trunk too, again, it's going to be hard to show you guys, but in person, there's all kinds of little golf ball divots all over the place in it. The hood, for whatever reason, did not get any dings or dents in it. It's just more of a non-perfect paint job. But here's the whole other side of that coin, is this car is still original paint. So, beggars can't be choosers. But anyway, like I say, I just want to show you guys an up close and personal, give you an idea of like what drives me nuts about it at times. I've lived with this since I got the car in 96. I've had it fixed twice. You can actually see how piss poor the fix was, but for whatever reason, it's peeled twice on me again, and now I just leave it. Again, clear coat, right? I've got parking lot war wounds in this car. They're going to be fairly hard to show you on film, but like the side of this car has got 2 or 3 pretty decent ones. There's a really good one right here. Now I am going to get those tended to. I've got a buddy that does PDR repairs, So I'm gonna get him to give me a hand with those this summer and take that off my list of to-dos. This body kit, it definitely needs to be repainted. It's seen a better day. The underneath of it has been scuffed a few times. It's caught a few curbs, big chips in it and what have you. There's more parking lot dings and dents down this side too. Got some trim, door, frame issues. That actually, the driver's side door, I've done my best to repair it, but the hinges on it have been bent at one point in time. Again, this was back in my windy Alberta days, but I went to open the door in a parking lot and the wind caught it and swung it out so hard it still gives me chills to think about, still to this day. Little squeak action. Here, let me get that dinging out of the way. The body kit by no means ever fit perfectly. And you can see my remedy as an 18-year-old idiot. I just thought I'd run a couple of screws into it to try to keep it from doing this. Smart like stick. Rubs here. The other side's the same. The interior, thankfully, I was smart enough to take care of it over my teenage years. I have gone through and, restored the faded dash bits and pieces, but no massive tears or anything to report in the seat. They're maybe a little tired in areas. I forget which one it is. There is one of my seats that has a tiny little tear, and it might be the passenger seat. But yeah, goofy little deals. The trunk has had so many different iterations of speaker boxes, and it's been to parties and had beer spilt on the original carpet. I don't even know what that rust is from. Probably an amp I had mounted there at one point in time. I've tried to clean it up over the years, made that little amp rack deal. You can still see the remnants of my LX badge. Had to peel that off when I was a kid, right? Because you didn't want your LX coupe looking like grandma's 4-cylinder next door. You had to do everything to make it look like a GT, really. This is where the body kit came in, and I've talked a lot about that as to why I did that back in the day. This spoiler, I get a lot of people asking me about this spoiler. It came on the car. The first owner put the spoiler on the car. I don't know where it came from. In all honesty, I'd love to see the car with it not on it, but this is the original trunk deck and I don't really want to repaint it. So what I might do, just to get an idea of the look of it without the spoiler on it, is find another deck lid and get it painted green and whatever, have the option of the spoiler. Down the other side, same thing. She's got all kinds of bumps and bruises. Again, I hope these are showing up for you guys on film. All the different little nicks and stuff. I know I got a pretty good ding back near my fuel door. I want to say, well, yeah, it's even, how many times has it had the old gas nozzle rammed into the side of the paint, right? I think this was my kids. Probably ran a handlebar down the car, right? Again, body kit never fit perfectly. Oh yeah, another screw, right? Gotta fix the make her sit nice and tight. Stupid stuff you did when you've owned these cars as long as you have, that you probably would have reworked and found a different angle to try to fix it at the time. Under the hood, I have gone through under the hood and restored a lot of, well, pretty much just the stuff that happens over time. But sorry, I'm trying to do this with one hand, folks. Okay, this Stinger glass fuse holder that's the same one that's been in this car since I was a teenager. I actually had somebody the other day asking me what grommet I went through to run my power wires, and looks like I used the clutch cable. No, not the clutch cable. Speedo cable. I went through the Speedo cable grommet. Again, this is, I mean, I'm pretty proud of the work that I've done under the hood here, but I wouldn't be parking beside, you know, the War Admiral or Mario's Blue Coupe or anything. Like, it's been tidied and cleaned, but it's by no means gonna take home any awards. I got a little leak, well, a little sweating actually in my water pump. You can see down in there. No green or anything, but definitely a little greasy and a bit of a dirt catch. I think my rear main probably should be redone again. She's marking her territories kind of right down in the center section of the car. When I did my disc brake swap over and the 5-bolt swap, I don't know if you guys will be able to see this or not. Probably not. Should have put it on the hoist for you, but rather than running the SN95 rubber hoses that go from your hard line out to your caliper, I built hard line, which doesn't make the rear calipers very serviceable at all. Stupid little stuff, right? That you just kind of, you were stuck in the garage on a Sunday, no part stores were open, you did what you had to do to get something done. I've cut my stereo harness to put a aftermarket stereo in it, right? It doesn't have the two little plug-in plugs to keep your main harness. I don't know where those two plugs have gone. Stupid, young decisions that a person made at the time. Okay, folks, so there's a little tour around my green coupe and showing you some of the things that drive me crazy each and every time I go around to that corner of the car and look at them. Now, this was a bit of an interesting exercise in that it kind of made me realize while I was filming it, I'm like, geez, you know, like, it's really not that bad. Like, why am I so hung up on it? But that wasn't really the point of the video either. It was more about showing you that, hey, when you see this thing from 20 feet in a photo, don't think that, you know, it's awesome and your stuff's junk. I just want to level with you and let you know, like, my stuff's got flaws too. And everyone else's stuff has flaws too. Even the cars that are winning awards at these car shows that have had cubic dollars thrown at them, they have flaws. They all do. So don't bust yourself up over it, okay? And you know what? It's part of the hobby too. Like, these are all things that I can fix, or I can get someone I can list in their help to help me fix them. And it keeps me interested. It keeps me intrigued in the hobby, so on and so forth. So anyway, bottom line, don't be hard on yourself, okay? We're all our own worst critics. You got a Foxbody. That's a win, especially these days. They're getting harder to find. So I hope this video helped you guys. Anyway, thanks for listening to me ramble. I appreciate it. If this video helped you, please send it along. That's why I do the videos, try to help the community out. So thanks for tagging along, guys. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye for now.